Hello everyone, I'm so excited to have you all here today. We are interviewing Franzisca Mesche. She is the founder of the brand TRIPULSE. Now, TRIPULSE is an eco-friendly sportswear brand that instead of using polyester to make their clothes, is using a very innovative textile called Lyocell TENCEL. We will discover a little bit more in our interview what that fiber is about, but for now, please allow me to share some facts on why this conversation we're having today matters so much. In the past couple of years, I've been researching a little bit more about the contribution of fashion to our global pollution. And I came to realize that actually it is quite massive, the impact that fashion is having in the release of microfiber plastic pollution in our oceans. It's quite unbelievable. So now, some things you need to know is that about 60% of all fashion is made out of synthetic fibers, also known as polyester. If you look a little bit closer on the sportswear industry, about 65% are using polyester to make their clothes. Now, it is quite scary to know that fashion is actually our biggest contributor to microfiber plastic pollution in our oceans, counting with about 500,000, so 500,000 of tons that are already floating in our oceans, counting with about 500,000, so 500,000 of tons that are already floating in our ocean. And this can only get worse. It is estimated that by 2050, we will have about Now you're gonna ask how this can be possible. Well, every time we turn on our washing machine, it is accounted that about 700,000 of microfibers are released in our waterways, ending up on our oceans. And the problem is that once it reaches the oceans, it will automatically contaminate our food chain because fishes will eat the microfibers, and when a fish ends up in our plate, if you are actually a fish eater, you will end up eating plastic. So it is very scary, and this can only get worse. By 2050, it is estimated that about 22 million of tons will be floating around our oceans. So my message here for you guys is that we can all contribute to make the world a little better by supporting brands just like TRIPULSE, who are choosing to not produce with plastic and to look into very innovative materials to make our clothes better, not just for the planet, but they feel also healthier on our skin. So it is just really a win-win situation. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Franzisca. We're talking about realizing that the industry was a little bit polluted.
Right, exactly. That I did the research and found that actually the very problem in front of my eyes are the very clothes I wear every single day. And I, did a lot of research online, tried to find brands that do sportswear without synthetics, but couldn't really find anything besides cotton. And so that became very clear to me. Okay, now this is my turn. I cannot, complain about it. I need to create this for myself and for many other people. And so this is basically when TRIPULSE got born. I started with a very strong mission to do that. I didn't know if there is such a material out there. I just had a very strong determination to find it. And so I went back to Europe, and then, not having any connection, I had to build everything from scratch. I went to a lot of material fairs in Europe, talked to experts, and then, long story short, came across TENCEL in the end. So that was amazing, and that gave me hope. And yeah, the rest is history. Now the first collection is created.
Wow, amazing. And what is, like, if you could put this like on a vision, what is the big change you want to create with TRIPULSE?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. So I want to change the activewear industry and the way that people work out or what they work out in. that means much better material. So I would love to see people working out in material that's are fossil-free base, because synthetics, they're made from crude oil that have no toxins and have very low or no impact on the environment and are renewable, nature-based. So my mission would be fulfilled if I could change that, or also, encourage other companies to follow suit. I cannot do this alone. Of course, there needs to be more who see that, and that would be the big mission I have.
That is so typical from social eco-entrepreneurs. They're so kind. Instead of seeing other like-minded brands coming up with similar ideas, they just go like, yes, come on board. We need more people like this changing.
But it's true. I mean, I think if we really want to create impact, it's, I think it's the wrong mindset to think, we should be the only ones. It's really, in the end, if we truly care about the impact, then more need to follow with that. That's for sure. And people like you guys who help spread the awareness, education from all kinds of angles, we need to help with that.
Absolutely. As I always say, our good brands are good people.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think that's so important that you do it for the right reasons. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. So I wonder, I asked myself this question, and you might have an answer, or maybe you don't have the answer, but what do you think is the main drivers for other brands to use so much plastic? Because we shared some data earlier, and it's just shocking.
Yeah, it's, it's really interesting. I could talk about it for a long time, but I mean, to give you the short answer, I think the main reason is price. It's dirt cheap, and it's the availability. So right now, crude oil and fossil fuels is still very common. So it's very easy to extract that and make polyester, for example, out of that. Now, of course, in the future, as hopefully the world will at some point shift away from fossils, that will also change. But it's dirt cheap to make, and it's very freely available. And when it comes to sportswear, of course, it also has good functional features. Some of them, like, it's sweat wicking, it's durable. So it has these features that are, of course, good. But what I want to achieve, to take all the good features, but have basically better ingredients. Yeah. But, and just a little thing, because I'm so passionate about it, I just watched a documentary the other day, and it was about, the industrialization, and when they introduced all these innovations in materials, including plastic, and then basically the coming up innovation of plastic that basically opened so many new fields and many products, but it led to like complete overconsumption because it's so dirt cheap. And all the fast fashion problem we have is also based on all the synthetics, because it's so cheap to make. And of course, it will inspire people to buy more all the time because of the price.
Very interesting. So now that we've gone through all the plastic, let's move into the right material, which is TENCEL. Can you please tell me, what is the material and why is it so great? How is it sourced?
Yes, so TENCEL is a really interesting fiber. So TENCEL is basically a lyocell fiber. So it is, and it's basically the company Lenzing in Austria came up with the production of this particular kind of fiber. So it is a botanic fiber, so it comes from natural origins, particularly from wood that comes from spruce, pine, eucalyptus. And what is very important here is to say that it comes from certified FSC forests. And oftentimes it comes actually from the rest products of wood that cannot be used for furniture. And what I also want to point out, because, trees are obviously a renewable resource, so they regrow. But what is important, because they are certified, it means that they will always plant trees, and trees are never taken from rainforest or endangered areas. So that's very, very important. And also just important to say, because you can buy regular lyocell, But if it's not TENCEL certified, it doesn't give you the guarantee that it, for example, comes from rainforest area. So this is just like very important to know. If you look at a label and you don't see the TENCEL certification, then it doesn't have to, but it can mean, you know, it's from unresponsible forestry. So this is
yeah,
exactly. So this as a side note, what I think everybody also should know. But so yeah, the origin is the trees, and then what I love very much about it too is then it comes to the production process. So it's made in a circular process. So you take the wood pulp and you make it into fiber. And there are only two simple ingredients to do it. It's water and it's a non-toxic organic solvent. And this way you make the beautiful fabric out of it, or the fiber. And what's amazing is that the water in this solvent will be reused to 99.9%. So there's almost no waste in the production if you compare it to a lot of conventional production of cotton or polyester.
Or even bamboo, I'm thinking, which is claimed to be such a sustainable material for clothing. However, a lot of bamboo, they use very harsh chemicals to break down the fibers. So if they're not in a closed loop system, we even have a report on our website where we speak about this. If you gotta make sure or address and ask the brand if there is a closed loop system to replace all these chemicals, because if they're released, like again,
that goes into nature, and that's a huge issue. And then this leads to another discussion: where it's produced. Some countries have very strict conditions how stuff is composed of, and others, you know, don't have any. So, but anyhow, that's what I love about TENCEL. Again, when it has the certification, also it will ensure that it is really this clean process. So that's the production stage, and then you have the fiber and the product, which just, you know, you Maxime, you tried it out, you have some of the clothes. So I would say it feels amazing, and it's just very, very nice. And from an environmental and health perspective, it doesn't have any harmful microplastics, so you don't have to worry about, and every time you wash it, that what you said, that, you know, you will spill hundreds of thousands microplastics that don't decompose. So that's not the case. You don't have to worry about that toxins go into your skin. But here again, I also need to inform that you still have dyes and potential finishings on the fabric. So you also always need to make sure that the brand, you know, doesn't have any toxins, because you can still add something bad to TENCEL. So you also need to make sure this is not the case. And in TRIPULSE case, we make sure that's not. So you have a healthy product, so to say. It doesn't spill microplastics. And then by the end of life, you know, you could give it to recycling, but you can also, it could also be composted. So you could also bring it to your compost if you do it in the right way. So that's even possible, and will decompose and not stay for hundreds of years in the environment. So the whole cycle from the beginning to the end is really, it's circular, obviously. And it's just, I think, you know, if you compare it to virgin polyester, for example, I think so much better for the environment and for the health.
Absolutely. So now that this fits in quite nicely to talk about your collection, like what can people find in your online shop as for the activewear?
Right. Yes. So have a look at my website, tripulse.co. So there's the first collection, which we launched now this year. And so the first one is only for the ladies. Men are to follow. But we have 3 bottoms, so 2 leggings. They are with pockets on the sides and hidden pockets. So depending what your preference is, a lot of people want to have the phone when they're running. So for them, the pockets on the sides are perfect. We have a lot of yogis who like to have it very slick, nothing around it. So they prefer just the hidden pockets. And then it's a very beautiful, breathable material. It's also nice for a little bit cooler days because it's a little bit thicker material. So you will feel always nice in it. Then we have shorts. So it's basically a short version of the leggings with hidden pockets. Perfect for, I don't know, if you, for example, get really hot when you work out, if you sweat a lot, or in hot summer days, or if you just like to wear shorts. So these are the bottoms, and then we have tank tops. So we have three different colors for everyone, something bright and darker ones, loose fits, very airy, breathy, lightweight material, and we also have t-shirts. And the performance is really great. Just to maybe add here, why is Tencel good for just working out? It's super duper breathable. It's really, in polyester often felt oftentimes like stuck in a plastic bag a little bit. So I feel the skin can really breathe wearing it. It doesn't smell easily. So I can go in my TRIPULSE outfit, I don't know, a whole week working out and it still doesn't smell. I shouldn't say it. I think. And at some point I wash it because I just psychologically say, okay, I think now I should, even though it still doesn't smell. But the reason for that is that bacteria doesn't easily grow on the fabric. Like in polyester, you have to wash all the time. And so that's an amazing feature. It's super skin friendly. I have people who tell me they get rashes when they work out in plastic. And especially for you guys who have these issues, try out Tencel. It's really, really hypoallergenic as well. So it's super comfy, super smooth.
Yeah. So this is really sounds like this typical brand that is really solving a social and environmental health problem, and by creating a new product. I like the fact that people who have problems with skin problems, they're like massive. And how that affects their body just by wearing. And where you're working out, you should be getting healthier, not getting worse, right? So it must be very frustrating for many people. This is great. Well, I am wearing today TRIPULSE. I'm wearing the pants as usual. With my side pockets, which are a big game changer, and I'm wearing here my absolute favorite.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So from my experience, I definitely share what you said, but just a little add-on. For my pants, they're just so comfy and stretchy. I cannot wear them an entire day long. And it is a way for me to just don't have excuses in the afternoon to practice my yoga. I'm already dressed, so it's no like looking somewhere else. And also, I love the versatility of it, because whether I am going out for a walk with the dog, I am cycling or boxing. I started boxing the other day, hiking, or yoga, which is my main sport. It is just so versatile. And sometimes I even find yoga wear, you can't easily wear it for other type of clothes, for other type of sports, because, for example, the side pockets, the fact that you can just go for a walk comfortably, put your phone and your podcast, ebook, wherever you're listening to, right? So this is just one of those things. The other thing that I really like is that it's warm. I feel sometimes lots of yoga wear, talking about from my experience, eventually they're also ethically made, but are using polyester. They're very thin and they're very cold, so it's not so super comfortable to wear out of your yoga practice, because you won't be sweating. And then again, when you're sweating, you stay really dry, which is something that plastic kind of makes you sweat more, and not necessarily it is you're sweating because you're sweating, but more so because your skin can't breathe. And as for the tank, I have to confess, I wear pretty much every day under my winter clothes, because it's just so soft and nice and comfy. Like you don't even feel like you have anything in underneath. So it's like I get a lot of like very uncomfortable moments with other type of like more synthetic clothing, especially in the winter, because I'm such a summer person. Like it's just clothes are not made really for me. So having that underneath is, and again, it does never smell. So sometimes I have a feeling they can just walk right to the washing machine, just go for a walk. But it's not. And then I think what's great of the design of this tank is that it's fitting, and it's not like one of those pieces of garment that would your body has to adapt to it to look good, but this adapts to your body, if that makes sense. So that these are some of the features that I'm just like really thrilled to have in my wardrobe. And to be honest, it's the most worn piece of clothing. Also because I know every time I wash it, I'm not contributing to the negative effect of the microfiber. So thank you so much for doing this. You've really made the life of a yogi way easier.
This is so, it's like honey to my ears, Maxime. It's amazing to hear that. And, you know, listening to people, how they feel it, like some things I wasn't even aware of. So it's just so nice. And to hear that you actually wear it a lot, because that's, you know, how it should be. And like you say, you don't only have to wear it for sports, and also just wear it for leisure. So, you know, the idea is also to create like more minimalistic approach pieces, so you can wear, like, have this conscious wardrobe, if you want to say, to really be able to combine and wear it anytime. And of course during activity, that's the focus, but you can also wear it just, you know, as you already do.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I wanted to, like, obviously acknowledge the journey of what you've been creating, and that you've just been on this pretty much a challenge to challenge the industry, which is a massive industry. Sportswear fashion is probably the biggest, right? And you've made something that is sustainable. You've made it ethically fair trade, because you look in you make sure that the factories where you produce, the people get the right working conditions and all that. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I can talk a little bit about it. So, you know, a big thing is, of course, the environmental health side. The other thing I said, or I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but it's really important to also, something that frustrated me too with the existing sportswear and many brands, that I didn't know, where does it come from? Can I ensure that, you know, nobody has to suffer because I'm wearing this now? The price gave me sometimes an idea when it's super cheap, but anyhow, I wanted to make it better, and, you know, only choose suppliers that I know, you know, how they do things. So that was the other big thing for TRIPULSE, and doing my brand, my clothes. And so, I mean, maybe to start with, I saw, since we're focused on Europe right now, and to start with, I want to make, and we're based in Sweden, but our customers are all over Europe. Want to make sure that the suppliers and the manufacturing where the clothes are sewn are as local as possible. And we found a very, very nice manufacturer in Portugal. They are, it's obviously an EU country. You can say there can always be exceptions, but generally they have okay labor conditions if you compare to maybe far east or Asian countries. There are, of course, always exceptions, but this factory we work with, they're GOTS certified, Global Organic Textile Standards, so they have stronger additional social and environmental policies in place. And then the other thing is also that the suppliers, they need to adhere to the International Labour Organization standards. That basically means, you know, that fair wages need to be paid. It needs to be safe and healthy working conditions, no discrimination, no child labor, slavery, and all these things need to be in place. So we got the confirmation from all our suppliers. Now, what I haven't done, but want to do, is I also want to visit the suppliers. We are a brand that got born in the pandemic. You can say we launched in the pandemic. So that's a challenge to do now. They are still very closing the doors for visits. But, you know, as soon as it gets better, I definitely also love to go there in person. That's definitely a dream I have. And I think also belongs to this whole supply chain transparency and, you know, just relationship in general.
Great. Absolutely. And I also want to mention that all the brands, as they grow, when we're talking about transparency and the responsibility that they come with at creating a product and communicating, it is also the sustainability reports. It's not just to mention what we're doing right, but also where we're going, and all the little things and boxes we haven't ticked yet, reasons, and what we're going to do about it. And I think every time more.
Mm.
Consumers really appreciate this, and we're
Mm.
getting so much smarter, and which
Yeah.
puts founders also in this
We have the
position.
power. Yes, exactly.
Great work, Franzisca. Thank you so much for sharing. I really like from your community and the message you spread across, and how it comes with this genuinity of being better, be better, which is on the back of your t-shirts and your tote bags. And
Yes.
that's, it's just kind of like, it's interesting because when I'm wearing it, it's just like, yeah, be better. It's just a
Yes.
message to the
Yeah.
world, right? You're showing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, I think it should be just a nice reminder, you know, not like a punishing be better, but a reminder. Sometimes I think maybe people see that a little bit different, but it should be like in a good way, you know, better to ourselves, to the
Absolutely.
environment.
So what I did, I wonder if you could, because you've done all this and you've done it successfully, is there any piece of advice you could throw at us, other social or eco-entrepreneurs similar with a similar mindset, on what would you say to us to be better and to do
Right.
things
To be
successfully?
better. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, I mean, now if it's for, you know, people who maybe are entrepreneurs or want to become that or want to do something they truly believe in, I mean, I'm still on a journey. I'm far from perfect, or TRIPULSE is far from there. We are still in very early days. But what I can say, and you know, we're early on, and we already had a lot of challenges to face, like the pandemic, and you know, a lot of things. And but I must say, so what really helped me is to be, before I even started TRIPULSE and decide I do this company, I was very, very, very clear on the why and the mission and the purpose. And this is where everything is built on. And I betcha that I would not have continued if I would have just created a company, maybe just for financial reasons or something. Like for me, this really strong purpose that's bigger than myself. I don't do it really for me. Yeah, also, but especially for the world and for other people. So that really, it sounds cheesy, but that's really the reason why I get up every day and I'm so excited, even when times get tough. Like, you know, there's every other day something is challenging, and that's the life of an entrepreneur. I'm sure, Maxime, you also know that from yourself. But I think it's always reminding yourself in these times why you do it and go back to your why and your mission. This is something so important. And so I think it's just really good to be clear on that, and then you go all in, 200%.
Great.
Yeah.
So it is really a little bit what yoga is about, this soul searching and really understanding why you've come to this planet, why you've come to the universe, and what you should be doing with your life, right?
Right.
So,
Absolutely. That's it. Yeah.
and I think social eco-entrepreneurs are really great to and genuine with the why and the missions, and this is something they all have in common from what I've been seeing and researching, and they're very strong with their values. So thank
Yeah.
you for the tip, and it's definitely something that I can also align with. As for everyone else that is watching and is not necessarily an entrepreneur, I love this question, which is like, if you could write a big message on a big wall for the entire world to read, what would it say?
Oh, now the pressure I feel is very high to come up with something really creative. And I'm stealing this now from Gandhi. But I would say create the change you want to see in the world. Not be, but be is also good. But I say create because I've been in the shoes where I just complained and, you know, didn't like things and somehow expected other people to fix things. And it doesn't have to mean create a company. It can be whatever. But, you know, I think just do it then. Just, you know, start and, you know, things will be figured out on the way. But I think sometimes we can fall this paralysis where we don't do anything or we're doubting. But I think just create the change and, you know, just do it. And a lot of beautiful things will actually happen. And you will see a lot of supporters along the way. And I feel that by having started TRIPULSE, where I feel now I'm finally creating the change I want to see, like my life has been so enriched in many ways, and I've learned and grown so much also as a person, which I would never if you're just on the passenger seat. So I think, and just trust in yourself, you know, you don't have to be perfect, nobody is, but I think, yeah, that would be what I would post there on your picture there, put it there underneath. I think that's perfect for it.
That's lovely, Franzisca. I'm proud of you for spreading this message. That's great. So let's wrap up. And I would like you to tell us, where can we find TRIPULSE? What are the best channels? And what they should be looking for when they
Right. I mean, for you guys who just want to know more, a little bit more in depth about, you know, the topic of activewear, especially sustainability, fabrics, innovation, new things coming up, the best way is to subscribe to our newsletter. You find that going to tripulse.co, and then all the way on the button, you see a sign up field. Or if you just want to follow us on Instagram, it's at TRIPULSE Official. So absolutely, these would be the major channels.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I will be sharing this on the notes when we publish this on the IGTV. But I also wanted to share for those who are active now that Franzisca is so kind that she's given our community a discount code to get a 20% off as for the Christmas season. And the code is called OGBXMAS20. So I'll be sharing that again with the community. I'll make sure to put it everywhere on our different materials so that people can access it right away. But thank you so much for joining, Franzisca. And it's also lovely to, after all these couple of years, have a bit of a relationship here, that we finally see each other's faces. So thank you so much. And I really wish TRIPULSE all the success in the work, because you guys really deserve it.
Thank you so much, Maxime, and also from my side. I mean, keep on doing the amazing work you do. So much passion, so much drive and work really goes into all the work you do. So I appreciate from the bottom of my heart all your support, and thank you so much. And thank you everybody who listened.
Yes, thank you for everyone who joined us today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
I hope you everyone enjoyed this conversation with Franzisca and learn a little bit more about what this amazing brand does. And in the meantime, please make sure to subscribe so that we can keep supporting these amazing conversations and make them happen across our digital channels. You can also follow us on our good brands across every single social media platform. And also check us out at ourgoodbrands.com. We share eco-living tips in form of guides, entertainment options, and some of the best eco and social enterprises around the world. Now, we've just released our yoga ebook, which is free for you to download. I'll drop the link down below, and please go check it out. In this ebook, we cover things like what are the principles of yoga, how you can understand the chakras, what is the best yoga for you, how you can bring yoga in the mat and out of the mat so you can start living in a more eco-conscious and more harmonious way. We also cover other very interesting things. We speak about karma, such as the sun and the moon energies. We talk about how our thoughts create our aura, and lots of other very interesting things, including some of the most amazing eco-friendly brands from around the world. And in these brands, if you check us out, you might just get some discount codes that we've put together for you, as well as the entire research that now you don't have to do anymore, and you can just go right away and just support those brands that you really think are worth supporting.